Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and today we are going to start a cozy reading vlog. And by cozy, I mean cozy fantasy. So we're going to read 3 cozy fantasies for this vlog, and I am excited for all of them. So let's show you what I'm going to be reading. So the first one is The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I think this one is about a young woman who ends up on an island, and she has to find a way to support herself, but she also wants to be left alone by the entire village, and that's not going to work out. So I think the village comes to her and starts to support her despite wanting to be left alone. And there's also some romance I've heard. Sounds really interesting and very, very cozy. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I am very, very excited to read it. Then we have Assistant to the Villain, which is much more polarizing. I've heard people loving this and then absolutely hating it, so I'm interested to see where I fall on the spectrum. I think I'm going in with appropriate expectations because I think this is about a young woman who joins the clerical side of a villain's enterprise. He is the local villain to her kingdom, I guess, and she ends up being his secretary, I think, and it goes from there. I think this is a little more heavily romance than the other two, but I'm not 100% sure. And then this one is Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne, and this is another cozy about a sapphic couple who leaves behind their responsibilities. I think one is a royal guard and the other is some kind of magic user, and they have to go into hiding, and after that they start a tea and book shop, and then it's very, very cozy from there. I'm not sure 100% what this one the plot is, or if there is a plot, but I'm very excited for it. All 3 of these I've heard great, and well, Assistant to the Villain I've heard terrible things about. The other 2 I've heard nothing but praise, so we'll see where I fall on loving them or hating them or whatever, but we're gonna jump into the vlog right now. Hello everyone. So I have been putting off reading this book for 24 hours because I keep trying to find a better time to do this vlog update, and there just isn't one right now in my life because it's hectic. So we're just gonna update you on The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I think I may have mentioned this vlog, I don't know for sure, but I have read Sarah Beth Durst before, but it's been years and years since I've read one of her books, and I absolutely have fallen in love with this. I'm a third of the way through, and I just love Keela and Kaz. I actually used a Libro FM credit to get the audiobook of this, so I'm mostly listening and sometimes immersion reading this, and it's so cozy. It's a little bit like Legends and Lattes, that there's these undercurrents of heaviness to the book, but there is also, it's actually a lot like Legends and Lattes because Keela is starting her own shop. She's kind of coming up with this idea and figuring out how she's going to run it. She has all these small things that she has to tackle, but then there's a few things floating around in the background that are larger and a little heavier for her. And I'm just overall really enjoying this. There was something I missed when listening to the audiobook, and I don't know if that's just I missed a moment or a detail, or I did fall asleep reading this and then have to rewind it to the place where I remembered last, and I don't know if I just missed something in that transition, but there was something going on with a chicken that I had to kind of ask to kind of clarify what was going on with that. So everything's good. It wasn't a major plot point, but it did make me laugh that I was just what is happening here? What did I miss? And obviously I missed a little something in the plot, but overall, this is just delightful and fun, and I'm having a great time reading it. I can't wait to read more. I'm going to keep going on with it, and tonight I'm just going to settle in and spend some time listening to this. Hello everyone. So I'm at 71% of The Spellshop, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's cozy, it's wonderful. I love our cast of characters. I love the little sense of humor we have in the book and how it's cozy and quaint and silly, but it's also has an undertone of seriousness that I mentioned before, and that's ramping up a little bit at this point in the story. I love that there are some stakes, it is cozy, but I have a sense that this is gonna work out okay. Like, that's kind of reassuring in this cozy story. I feel like that's kind of the cozy brand, that if you are gonna have stakes in a book, if you're gonna have some dispute or issue or problem, but that it's going to work out. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm the end is in sight for me, and I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen, but we shall see. But I am just loving, like I said, our cast of characters. The island setting is absolutely fantastic. I also really, really love the level of fantasy here, that like it's pretty casual how many different things and spells we like weave into this story, and how many different creatures we weave into the story, and it's just fascinating, and we get just enough to like understand them if they are like unique to this world, but then we see things that, you know, you would know what they are, and we don't have to go into deep detail, but it's fun to see them too. I just love how uniquely blended this is as far as fantasy. Like I said, having a great time. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight, and I'm really excited to do so. So I will update you when I have more thoughts. Hello everyone. So I have finished the Spellshop. I finished this last night before I went to bed, and I was delighted by this book. Like I said before, the world building of it, the characters, everything was delightful. I do think I'm going to end up at a 4.75 here. I really, really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I didn't quite love how big a part the romance played in this. I kind of wanted to keep exploring the world and the creatures of the world, as well as Keela's, you know, healing of the island, and I wasn't quite as interested in the romance, even though it was very sweet and very cozy and all of those things. I just didn't love that part of it. I also felt like this book should have ended a couple of times. Like, I felt like we were at the end, and then we were like, there's one more loose string we have to tie up, and I felt like that happened a few times. So it wasn't quite perfect in my eyes, but it still was delightful, and I enjoyed it very, very much. So I am really glad that this was so wonderful and so beautiful and all of those things, because I really needed a cozy book, and this really hit the spot for me. So like I said, so far a great success in this cozy vlog. Next up is going to be Assistant to the Villain. I have the audiobook of this, so we'll see how I have heard such mixed things about this one. I think I'm going into it with the right mindset though. Like, I think I'm expecting the right things, which might help me out. I think from my understanding, this leans cozy, this leans romantic, maybe not romance, and also like kind of silly and fun. So I'm interested to see where this goes and if I have the right impression of it, and we'll go from there. But I probably won't get to start this today because I have a very long work day ahead of me, but I'm excited to probably start it sometime this weekend. Hello everybody. So it's Sunday morning, and I decided to start Assistant to the Villain. I had to go pick up a Target order, and just like, I thought that would be about, you know, it took me about maybe 45 minutes to do that, to get to Target and back, and I thought that'll be a great amount of time to like get started on this and kind of just see how it goes. And till I got back, I was like almost ready to DNF it, and then we got through the prologue and into the first chapter, and now I'm a little more interested. Like, these first 3 chapters have been better than the prologue was. I was really ready to just give up after the prologue, but these first few chapters have been all right. So I can't tell if I like this book or not. There are certain things that the characters have done or said that I'm like not thrilled with, I'm not loving, but I'm also finding it kind of intriguing and silly and fun. So I'm gonna go a little bit further and see what I think, but I'm just not sure. Like, nothing is truly grabbing me. I'm like fascinated, but also not interested. It's a weird combo right now. I want to know what the backstory is here. Like, I'm curious what the motivation is and what the larger story is, but also everything's kind of over the top silly. So I'm not sure if it's going to be for me long term. So we're going to keep reading and see how it goes. I have to film my TBR for October today, and that's going to be a little bit chaotic. So as I'm getting ready for that, I am listening to this, and we'll see where it takes me. Hi, so have you ever been unable to stand a writing style in a book, but you're super curious about what's going to happen with the characters, and the dynamic of the characters is interesting that you keep going, but then you end up like skimming the book because you don't like the writing style and find the editing to be quite weird? That's what happened with this book. I don't think I would say I like read it. I didn't DNF it, but I don't know if I can say I like read it. I don't know that I would rate it because I didn't read the whole thing. But I definitely kept skipping ahead chapters to figure out what happened because I was curious enough about what was going to happen with the relationship and everything. But just everything seemed to take so long with these characters and with this plot, but also constantly things were happening. I just didn't like this writing style. But I really wanted to know what happened in the end, so I kept skipping ahead a few chapters to see if I could like settle into the story, and eventually I got to the end. I read it in like 2 hours because I definitely I was skipping chapters, I was skipping scenes. I didn't even like try to read every page because I didn't like the writing style, but I was just curious what was going to happen. Next time I might just watch a spoilery vlog of like the sequel to see what happens. But you know what's so sad about this too? I didn't love this, but this is like the perfect floppy paperback. This is perfectly floppy. If you liked Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, you might like this book. In fact, I would say that's a very distinct possibility if you would like this book. All right, that's my update. Weird day here. Hello, everybody. So I am just about at the 50% mark of this book, and I'm finding it delightful. It is very sweet and very cozy. I'm enjoying the aspect of like building the bookshop and like acquiring the things for a bookshop, and kind of how there's like a little bit of sinister undertones. I think I've said this for all of the books, that I enjoy how it's not spooky, cozy, but at the same time there are like a little bit of stakes here. Like it's not just a slice of life, like there is a little bit of like a background plot going on that kind of threatens our characters in one way or another that they kind of have to deal with. So it keeps the story moving. So I do like that about this, but overall I just am delighting in how this is cute and sweet, and I like our two main characters, and they're both wonderful, and it's just a fun time. I'm just having a good time reading it. Kind of having a chill day here at the house, kind of floating between tasks and reading, and this is just going swimmingly. Hello everyone. So I have finished Can't Spell Treason without T, and I had an excellent time with this. I am going to end up rating it 4 stars. I had a really good time. It has a little bit more cutesiness to it, like it's a little more sweet and fluffy than Legends and Lattes is, but it's still kind of similar in that vibe. And it definitely has more romance than Legends and Lattes did. But it's fun. I enjoyed it, had a good time. It's on the sweet tooth side of sweet for me, just a little bit, so I'm gonna hit it at 4 stars, or rate it at 4 stars. But overall, just a delightful little read, beautiful sprayed edges, and a very nice, cozy time. Had a great time reading it, and I have more tea here tonight, so I'm gonna pick out my next book, but that's gonna be it for this vlog. I had a great time reading all these cozy books. That's a lie. I had a great time reading 2 of these cozy books, and I DNF'd Assistant to the Villain. DNF-ished? Whatever I did to that book. That book is in the past. I don't remember. But that is it for me today. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about the books that I talked about today, please let me know down below. And if you want to let me know you were here, but you don't have anything you want to add, just go ahead and leave me like a cup emoji, like a teacup emoji. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!